A day in the life of a stay-at-home, burned-out, degenerate college student with no friends, no money, no job, no motivation, no social life, no relationship, no love life, no personality, no bitches.
Let's talk about recession indicators. So times have been pretty interesting, whether it be those crazy egg prices that we saw at the beginning of the year, or the recent imposing of tariffs on the United States. Whatever the case may be, it's clear that the cost of living has gone up and times are a little bit rough. All of this instability has gotten people talking about an impending recession, or even if we're in one currently. On a technical note, we're actually not in a recession, but there are signs that one could be coming soon. Or at least, there allegedly are. There was a trend on TikTok a couple months ago pointing out different things as recession indicators, and let's just say some of them were pretty interesting. I've composed my own list of possible recession indicators, so let's get into it. So I'll start off the list with the most boring one just to get it out of the way, and that is that more and more people are opting to go to grad school. I might just be more aware of this because I'm in my mid-20s, but it feels like everyone is going back to school to get their graduate degree. And it's typically for one of two reasons. The first being they graduate college and they just simply can't find a job. And the second one being they get laid off and they're like, well, now I got time to go back to school. While editing this video, I came across this recently released statistic showing that the rate of unemployment among male Gen Z college grads is now at the same rate as non-grads, which just reflects how hopeless the job market is feeling, especially since a college degree used to provide recent grads a sense of job security and maybe even a higher paying job, but the stats now say otherwise. Regardless of the situation, it's definitely a trend that I'm seeing, and I can't help but tie to the fact that it's because young people are struggling to find a job and maintain that security just because of a possible recession. Okay, now on to a more interesting indicator, music. I posted a video last year talking about how music that's popular at a time kind of correlates to how an economy is doing. For example, during the Great Recession in 2008, we saw an inclination towards those clubby, more poppy beats, with artists like the Black Eyed Peas and Lady Gaga having an immense amount of popularity. And recently, we've been seeing a resurgence of that pop music, with artists like Charli XCX and Sabrina Carpenter taking the main stage. And even better, the queen herself, Lady Gaga, has made her reappearance by releasing more music and performing at Coachella. This is all just to say that as times get a little more tough, people tend to gravitate more towards music that provoke a sense of escapism, music that makes them forget about all the problems that are currently going on. So that's the music side of things, but what about fashion? There has been a debate on whether or not fashion trends actually align with how an economy is doing. But studies have been made that have determined that certain trends in fashion actually align with economic decline. So, what was popular during the Great Recession? Let's take it back. I think during the time, neutral colors, minimalist silhouettes, an emphasis on basics, and the incorporation of workplace attire were common characteristics of fashion at the time. All of these reflected a sense of conservatism and practicality while straying away from individuality. It makes sense because leaning more towards neutral, timeless pieces allows you to reuse elements in your wardrobe without making it blatantly obvious. And to take it one step further, fast fashion also started gaining popularity at the time, with people resorting to more affordable brands like H&M, Forever 21, and Zara. And what's popular these days? There's definitely been a return to basics, with items like the white tank top and denim making a big comeback. I don't think corporate wear has necessarily made a comeback in terms of everyday wear, although we've definitely seen some timeless pieces like the trouser or the white button-up gain popularity. Fashion trends used to seem to change every other month, but I think overall the fashion trend cycle has slowed down and more people are inclined to dress with those basic timeless pieces in mind, which of course TikTok has coined the old money aesthetic. The old money aesthetic attempts to romanticize generational wealth, aka wealth that has been passed down through multiple generations of a family. And this is done by emulating a more luxurious style with timeless pieces and straying away from those extremely trendy ones. On a similar wavelength is the coastal granddaughter aesthetic. Yeah, I know these names are kind of getting out of hand, but this tends to have more laid-back pieces that still make you look put together. Think going to the beach kind of vibe, but more polished. I don't know a whole lot about psychology, but it does kind of seem like people are trying to dress up as if they have money just to cope with the fact that they're actually struggling. Although there has been a large shift towards online shopping since the Great Recession, fast fashion continues to be a popular option for many, but just through brands like Shein. I will say that now there's definitely more of an awareness of the negative impact fast fashion has on the environment, and people are just more cognizant of how their spending habits can affect the planet. But I wouldn't say that people are necessarily focused on that quite yet. Like, I feel like people are hitting up thrift stores more often just to be more environmentally and financially conscious, but at the same time, there's still people stuck in that overconsumption cycle. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there are definitely some parallels between now and the Great Recession in terms of spending habits with fast fashion brands, but maybe just a little bit more environmentally conscious. Okay, moving on to my favorite recession indicator in the realm of fashion, the hemline. If you go into stores, there's a good chance that you'll see a lot of midi and maxi length dresses, and this is no coincidence. Apparently, there is a theory for this, and it's called the hemline index, which suggests that there's a correlation between the length of a woman's skirt and the state of the economy. For example, short shorts aren't really that popular, but what is? Long jorts. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I mean, shorter hemlines like the miniskirt are still popular, but I think the general trend overall is that people are gravitating more towards longer hemlines. While part of this whole recession fashion is the fact that people are attempting to stretch what they spend by wearing more basics, all of these fashion trends follow the general trend towards conservative fashion, which places a focus on more traditional values, like the traditional wife, aka trad wife, and dressing modestly. I'm not going to go too much into this, but it's clear that fashion and the political climate have some sort of correlation and can give us at least a general idea of the state of our economy. So now, staying in the realm of fashion, our next recession indicator is minimalist beauty. This encompasses a lot of things like not getting your nails done at a salon as often, or going to a more natural hair color so that you don't have to go in for maintenance as often. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense from an economic standpoint. I mean, the girlies just don't have enough money to be spending $60+ on nails every single month. So what's the alternative? Press-on nails. Press-ons are cheap and effective, and you can actually reuse them if you do the proper removal process. And going one step further, we have the princess nail trend, which focuses on shorter, more clean looking nails, focusing on the health rather than what the nail actually looks like, which in a sense could be viewed as just an excuse not to spend more on longer, more extravagant nails. And like I just mentioned, people going to a more natural hair color as opposed to the really fun, bright colors, or even just like a brighter blonde. And continuing with that minimalist beauty trend, we have the growing popularity of natural makeup. The popularity of beauty gurus and heavy eye makeup back in 2016 was definitely an indicator of how well everything was going. I mean, people were walking around with crazy eyeshadow, a full beat face, just to do daily tasks. But I think ever since COVID, there's definitely been a shift towards a more natural face, which could be a result of people reducing their makeup spending, though it's more likely just because the media we consume tends to be from fewer beauty gurus and more average people with average makeup routines. Okay, on to a more interesting recession indicator. LABOs. That's right, those creepy little monster dolls that have been making people go insane. Okay, but hear me out. LABOs aren't cheap. They start at $20, and depending on the popularity, they can go up to $40, $50, $60, even $100 just for a little toy. But a lot of people are willing to spend that money, and there's a reason for this, and it's called the lipstick effect. The lipstick effect is the idea that during a recession, people who can't afford nicer things turn to buying smaller luxury items like lipstick. In this case, people can't really afford to buy luxurious items like a bag or nice shoes. What do people do instead? We buy smaller, more attainable luxury items, such as LABOs. Are they cheap? No. Are they necessary? No. But buying them provides people a sort of attainable happiness, at least in the moment, which means that LABOs have to be a recession indicator. I think the same concept can be applied to the rise in matcha/coffee culture. With looming signs of a recession, fewer people are going to be pursuing those big ticket purchases like a new car or luxury items. So a $6 latte becomes more permissible of a treat and provides a sense of normalcy and routine, even if it's so much cheaper to just make one at home. So those are all the recession indicators that I came up with, but I'm sure there's plenty of other ones. If you come up with another one, let me know in the comment down below. And if you like this video, you should totally give this a thumbs up and maybe subscribe for more content like this in the future. Okay, that's all for now. Talk to you later. Bye!